Day is brought to you by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
Breaking ball, hip hold on the ground. Fair up the first base line and rolling toward the right field corner. Fermin's in to score. Renfroe rounds third. He crosses standing. Massey gets waved around. Relay to the plate lane. Massey slides in safely. Pasquantino gets all the way to third. A bases clearing triple.
The one thing my college coach used to tell me was on your days off, they're actually your game before the game. So I worked, stayed ready the whole game, made sure that I was ready to go when the time came. And I was told, all right, if we bunt here, intentional walk, you're in the game, and it happened quick.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we were hoping for, right? The early contact, the low pitch count, making them make decisions. I think he was like 11 out of the first 12 with first pitch strikes, and certainly we couldn't ask for more than that.
Well, just their balance. I mean, up and down. You're in a regional with Valley Center, who's won back-to-back 5A state titles, and you're in regional with Goddard. And Goddard has historically been a top 4 team. Now,
I walked up, I saw a little left to right, I kept reading it, I kept kind of panning. It started to look right to left to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is not what I want for a winning putt. Fortunately, it was uphill.
Nuggets won't foul here with 7 on the shot clock. Conley left angle, drives on Michael Porter Jr., runs it up, no, slam follow, Carl Anthony Towns, he soared in from the wing.
I mean, it showed us who we are, because the coaches believed in us, even though at halftime, even in the third, we was down 20. They like, just keep making runs. And it showed us who we are, man. Once we really lock in on the defensive end, because offensively we played okay, but once we really lock in on the defensive end, man, we're a hell of a team to beat.
Final seconds tick away, and there's the horn. It took 7 games, but the road team has finally won. The Indiana Pacers advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in a decade.
And good afternoon. Welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM, the talk of the town. Welcome into the Monday show. Steve Webster just all by his lonesome today. This is like when we started the show back in 2012. It was just me, although I can't say I'm in here by myself because our studio producer, Landon Winkler, is in today, so taking the place of Mike Hesher. Mike Corson, he's on vacation this week, although he's going to be working later as he'll be at the state track and field meet in Wichita at the end of the week. We've got state baseball, state softball this week. As the season coming to an end, we'll be covering that all week here on the program. On the show today, Barton Baseball, their season came to an end in Wichita over the weekend after a promising start. Won their first 2 games, reached the championship game of the winner's bracket. They lost to Johnson County, who would eventually win that tournament, and then turned around, had to play the next day against Hutchinson, a game that went 10 innings. Hutch walks it off in the bottom of the 10th inning. So we'll talk about another great season for Barton Baseball. We just kind of assume that it's going to be a run every year for the NJCAA World Series, but they aren't able to make it back, but we'll talk to Brent about a good season coming up here in just a little bit. Jim Mizunas, Great Bend Tribune sports editor, will be in today, and we'll preview state baseball and softball. State baseball with the Great Bend the Hoisting Cardinals, and state softball in 5A with the Great Bend Lady Panthers involved there. So let's get to our sound. Oh, and Mike Corson we were going to have Lyles Lashley on today, but Corson's gone. I'm going to hook up with Lyles tomorrow, so we'll get an in-depth look at the upcoming state track and field meet for Great Bend tomorrow on the show. And in its place, well, J.J. Piccolo, general manager of the Kansas City Royals, he's got to be feeling pretty good yesterday, and he was on the Royals pregame show yesterday, so we'll get you up to date on everything with the Kansas City Royals, who had a great weekend, and that takes us into the sounds the past 24 hours or so is Jake Eisenberg. I really like Jake's calls on the Royals games. Very energetic. That call yesterday, very energetic. Vinny Pasquantino's pinch hit triple, giving the Royals a 7-1 lead on Oakland in the bottom of the 6th. Royals cruise on to win the game 8-4. And they do what you're supposed to do when you have a team like that that's struggling like Oakland. You sweep them. That's what the Royals did. And Pasquantino, after the game, talking about he was on the bench, but his college coach told him that you've got to be ready to go. And he was. get up there and pinch hit with the bases loaded. Cleared the bases. Royals go on to win the game. Great pitching yesterday. Brady Singer, 6 innings of 1-run ball. Gave up 6 hits, had 1 walk, 9 Ks. 5th time this year Singer struck out 6 or more. One shy of his season high. He's got at least 5 innings in every start this season. And his manager, Matt Quatrero, appreciative of that effort as that Royals pitching staff, the starting staff, the best in the majors this season. First pitch strikes have been a key, and we heard Mike Sweeney, the pitching coach for the Royals last year, say that was the thought in the offseason, and boy, it's really carried over. Seth Lugo, another great outing. So the Royals now 10 games over 500. They've got a record of 29-19, and they are a game and a half behind Cleveland in the American League Central, and that's where they'll start tonight, 3-game series against the Tigers that we'll have for you on KVGB at 6 o'clock tonight. Did you hear that time, Landon? 6?
Yep.
Okay, you understand, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, it's our code between us. A lot of moving parts here on the radio station. So the Royals right there. Let's look at the other standings right now in the American League East. The New York Yankees leading Baltimore by 10 games. Tampa Bay is 8 out right now in the AL East. Looking to the West, Seattle has been playing very good baseball here the last couple of weeks. They have a game and a half lead on Texas. Houston has kind of rebounded a little bit. They got off that horrible start, but they've crawled within 5 games of the 500 mark, and 21-26, only 4 games out, so Houston is still very much alive. In the National League, Philadelphia, 20 games over 500 now. They're playing 700 baseball, and they have a 5-game lead over the Atlanta Braves. In the East, Milwaukee leading the Cubs by 2, the Pirates by 6 in the Central, and it's the Dodgers with a 7.5-game lead over the Padres in the National League West, and San Francisco's 8.5 games back. Connor Nickel, a guest on Friday on Sports Day, talking about the Grape Bend Lady Panthers, 22-6, and you go into the 5A bracket, you think, oh, that's pretty good. Well, they're still the number 8 seed, and they will play Spring Hill at 11 o'clock on Thursday morning in Wichita at WSU's Wilkins Stadium. Spring Hill's 26-2, but Connor's saying you get through a regional with Valley Center and Goddard, 2 traditional powers in Class 5A. You've got to have confidence that you can play 3 games in this state tournament. If the Panthers would win, they would take on the winner of St. Thomas Aquinas against KC Piper. Aquinas 23-4, Piper's 20-5. Then the other side of the bracket, Connor Nichols says Mays South goes in as a favorite. They're 25-3 against Topeka Seaman 22-6, and Bishop Carroll 24-4 against Baser Linwood. That would be the 5 o'clock game. And if the Panthers would win, they would play at 11 o'clock on Friday morning. You can hear all the Lady Panthers state softball games on B1043 The Point. Of course, Hoisington baseball, they will be in action Friday or Thursday. Cole Reif will have the call on 100.7 Eagle Country. As Sabetha 19-5, taking on the Cardinals 15-10. But again, Hoisington is hot as anyone in the state right now. And we're working on getting Eric Steiner in here, a couple players on Sports Day tomorrow, so check that out on the Tuesday show. Other teams in that 3A tournament, Wichita Trinity starts things at 11 o'clock from Toynton Family Stadium in Manhattan. They're 20-4 against Marysville, who's 10-13. Burlington 19-6 against Frontenac 17-8. And then in the same side of the bracket as Hoisington, Heston 20-4 taking on 15-12 Topeka Hayden. Then it's the Cardinals against Sabeth, against Cole Reif. We'll have that call for you coming up on Thursday in Manhattan. And 2-1A state baseball in Great Bend on Thursday. It all starts at 11 o'clock. 21-4 Marion taking on 20-9 TMP. At 1:15 Valley Falls 19-4 against 14-5 Medicine Lodge. Mission Valley 22-3 takes on Skyline High School at 3:30. Then Pitt Colgan 18-4 against Colony Crest 20-7. So again, more good high school baseball in town here in Great Bend on Thursday in the 2-1A state tournament. Okay, PGA Golf yesterday, you heard from Xander Schauffele. winning the PGA tournament by 1 shot over Bryson DeChambeau. He had to make about a 6-foot putt to win it, and he did. Read the putt right, became the first player since Phil Mickelson in 2005 to birdie the last hole of the PGA Championship. He ended up winning by 1. NBA playoffs yesterday. The defending champions are out. That call on KFAN. Karl Anthony Towns finishes off an offensive rebound with a putback slam dunk. The Timberwolves beating the Nuggets 98-90 in Denver. They advanced to the Western Conference Finals. Anthony Edwards, boy, he's a heck of a player, overcame a slow start. Timberwolves were down by 20 points in the second half, came from behind to beat the Nuggets. And it was a rough weekend for Avs fans. Well, Denver sports fans. The Avs lost in Game 7 at home to the Dallas Stars, and then the Nuggets will not defend their title. So it is the Timberwolves moving on into the playoffs, and they will take on Dallas, and that first-round game of the Western Conference Finals will be on Wednesday night. Tuesday, it will be the Eastern Conference Finals. Indiana beating New York yesterday, 130-109. You heard that final call on ESPN Radio yesterday. 130-109. The Pacers moving on. First time in 10 years they've been into the finals. You also heard Anthony Edwards talking about how they got their defense going. Offense is okay, but when they get locked in on defense, yeah, they're pretty good. So there you go. Sounds of the past 24 hours, 48 hours, sounds of the weekend here on Sports Day. Barton Baseball wrapping up the Region 6 tournament in Wichita. We're going to talk to Brent Biggs about that coming up here in just a moment. A couple other notes here today. Great Bend Lady Panthers swim team ending their season with a 23rd place finish at the Class 5 through 1A State Swimming and Diving Championships. Friday and Saturday in Lenexa, Lady Panthers finishing with 26 points to take 23rd as a team. Blue Valley Southwest dominating the field with 253 points. Second place, Topeka Seaman. Third place is Lansing. And as a young man growing up, I hated the Oakland Raiders. And one of their guys that was on that team, it's really hard to hate a center. So really, I probably didn't, I didn't hate Jim Otto the way I did Fred Biletnikoff or Darryl LaMonica or Ben Davidson, but Jim Otto passed away at the age of 86. Otto joined the Raiders for their inaugural season in the AFL in 1960, was a fixture on the team for the next 15 years. He never missed a game because of injuries and competed in 210 consecutive regular season games and 308 straight total contests, despite undergoing 9 operations on his knees during his playing career. His right leg was actually amputated in 2007. Jim Otto, dead at the age of 86. It's Sports Day here. Steve Webster along with Landon Winkler in the, a little bit empty studios here, Mayo Money Management Studios, but we press on here today. Our show brought to you in part by the Marmy Auto Group. They're located on 10th Street in Great Bend. Equity Bank. No ATM fees nationwide. Learn more at equitybank.com, and the Barton Cougar Booster Club continuing their efforts to make the Barton Athletic Department the best in the country. Cougar Baseball Talk with Brent Biggs coming up next here on KVGB.
Marmy Auto Group makes it happen. Central and Western Kansas. Check out our selection of new and pre-owned inventory. Marmy's friendly staff offers top quality service that you've gotten to know over the years. When your existing vehicle needs parts or service, our experienced team will get you back in the game this season. Marmy Chevrolet, GMC, Ford and Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep Ram, parts, service, and body shop. Visit Marmy Auto Group on 10th Street or marmys.net. Marmys, make it happen.
Barton Community College enrollment days are back. Registration is now available for all sessions through July 24th. Make the enrollment process fun, fast, and simple. Reserve your spot to get everything set up for the fall semester in just one day. Visit with an academic and financial advisor, enroll in classes, take a tour of campus, and more. Visit enroll.bartonccc.edu to sign up.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Zach Strite, commercial lender for Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people. I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. At Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
It's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Welcome back. Sports Day today brought to you in part by Eller Auto Repair, local mechanic and help behind Grape End Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, and Advanced Therapy and Sports Medicine. Get your life back. Joined in studio by Barton baseball coach Brent Biggs. The season comes to an end Saturday in Wichita at the Region 6 tournament with a 10-inning loss to Hutchinson. Hutchinson would go on to win another game, but then fell to Johnson County yesterday in the championship. Brent, quite a run by this baseball team, and I guess I just brought that up. I just thought about it when you came in. You go through a long baseball season. Sometimes you like your team, sometimes you don't like them, and then you like them again. Well, not so much now, and then they start playing so well at the end of the year, and, man, you hate to see these guys go. But congratulations, another great season. I know it didn't end up where you wanted it to, but, man, what a run, what a ride, man, the last couple weeks of the season.
Yeah, the last 3 or 4 weeks pretty much solidified the year, and, like I told our guys, we had high expectations. We had some really good players. It didn't go how we wanted, and it very easily could have kind of snowballed. And to see them finish the way they did kind of put a stamp on, their legacy at Barton and how they left it. And it just was really good to see a lot of those guys have success at the end.
Okay, you come out and you get Johnson County in that winners bracket championship game. Well, they jump out there, head 8-0, but then in typical fashion, the big inning Cougars that this club has been. You get 5 runs, you're right back in it. And I know the magic in that W. So here we go, boys, right there. But they were able to hold you off 8-5 in that game.
Yeah, their starting pitcher is really good. 90-94, he could move the ball. And, I mean, it took us a long time to get going. And, we broke through with 5 in the 7th there. And it was, like you said, here we go again. And, we had bases loaded, and Horseman hit the ball in the gap, and we scored all 3. And I just – they probably thought I was crazy over that. I just was smiling in the third base box. It's like, okay, and we had our chances in the 8th and the 9th, and we had some guys on, and we just couldn't break through. And, it's one of those things where you look back at it, it's like, man, if we could have just a little earlier, and had our opportunities against them. But Johnson's good, and they're balanced, and there's a reason they won the league. And but, we proved that we can play with them, and then, moved on to Hutch, and same thing. We had all kinds of opportunities, and we just kind of ran out of gas.
Yeah, man, 2-1. Tell me about the 8th inning. They got it tied.
Yep, got it tied. Nathan Bowman, hats off to him.
What a game.
Oh, man. Same thing. And he's a guy that, going in, we had high hopes for him. He started out the year as a starter. We moved him to the bullpen, and then he was a starter again, and it was kind of up and down. And just to see guys like that, they show up every day, they work, they're great kids, they're great students, and to see him have that ending, not the ending we wanted, but to see him have that outing, I mean, it just makes it all worth it, to see a kid like that have success. And it's 2-1, and they got a runner at first and 2 outs, and to Hutch's credit, they made the play, they got the hit, in that tournament, and, the guy hit it off the fence, about the only place that scores the guy from first to tie it up in the 8th, and, we had some opportunities in the 9th, and I think we got the leadoff guy on, and, and then at the end of that thing, they had probably the fastest guy in the country at second base, and they got the base hit, and, he was safe at the plate where about 95% of the players in the league and the tournament in the country would have been out, because we made a good throw, and it was one of those things where, it didn't work out. So we played well enough. We had a lot of opportunities early. I think we left, your Jim Masunas, which I can't wait till he shows up. Yeah. He threw salt on the wound. Yeah. Oh, Cougars are 0 for 6 in the first 2 innings. Thanks, Jim. We know, but we had a ton of opportunities. I think if we score early, that thing's completely different, but just didn't happen, and we lost to the number 1 ranked team in the country and the number 10 ranked team in the country, and by a total of 4 runs and stuff. So it was a good tournament.
Tell me about that base hit, because it's one of those that you'll always remember, because it's one of those that it's in slow motion.
Yep.
So, I mean, you can probably remember every thought, take you through that thought process.
So we walked the leadoff guy, who leads the country in stolen bases. So it's like, okay, you know, and they bunted him over to second. And so then they, you know, one of their best players is up. Well, we intentionally walk him, you know, to get to their shortstop, who one of the hottest hitters in the tournament, you know, but it's one of those gambles you take. And he's, you know, a guy that's played really well against us. And you could just see it. And I knew if there was a base hit, I knew we were in trouble, because the guy that was running at second base, and he hit it hard. And, you know, the throws, it just, it's like, oh, man, we're going to get him. We're going to get him. And he slides in there. It's like, oh, man. You know, and like you said, it.
Like, though, I mean, he just, I mean, I know it's got to just be deflating, but
you feel bad for the players, you know, and they put so much time and effort into it. And, you know, and I guess this is, and I tell them every year, the goal is for it to mean something. You know, in junior college, you don't always get that, because there's something next, you know, and half our teams going to Division I's or Division II's, and they've signed, and it meant something, you know, and they were devastated. And that's what makes it, I don't know, that just kind of, you spend all this time, that's what makes it mean something. And, okay, we got through to him, and it wasn't the ending we wanted, but to see him devastated, you just feel for him, because Barton means something to him.
Yeah.
The players mean something. It's a cool thing, I guess.
You got 7 2/3 at it, Bowman, man.
That was unbelievable.
What a gutty effort.
Yep. Yeah, and you know, he was good. He was really good. It wasn't just, you know, I mean, he commanded 3 pitches and competed, and, you know, I think there was 1 or 2 innings where he had to make some really big pitches, and he did, and he was so good, so good. And he just kind of, I mean, I think 103 pitches and ran out of gas there at the end. And, man, if you were to tell me that he was going to give us that start there at the end, take it all day, you know. And, you know, flip side of things, we could have brought back our number 1. You know, that's what Hutch did, you know, but they threw him 190 pitches in 3 days, you know, and it's like, well, we're not going to do that to kids. And we have guys over here that are just as good. And so to see him have that outing, I mean, like I said earlier, great kid, good student, everything you wish they could be. And for him to do that in his last start was awesome.
Yeah, I can see the big battle board in there with you and McBride, you know, and you got, okay, I got this weapon over here, and it's Reese, you know, so you just needed to get it to Sunday where we could have brought him back?
You know, he was itching to pitch.
Yeah.
And it's like, you got to save. I mean, they're kids. They all want to pitch, and you're the adult, and you have to save them from themselves, you know. And he was asking, you know, and it's like, if we're going to go on short rest, it's going to be in the championship game, you know, and we're not going to do it. We have other guys. So, you know, we'll bring him back on short rest and manage it if it's a championship game and we have an opportunity. And, you know, I think it's the right thing to do by the kid and the team. And sometimes you don't always get rewarded for it, but, you know, his future is way more important than winning one more game.
So would he have been out there if you had played that second game, or you just don't know?
It probably would have had to be a winner take all, you know, and it would have been the Sunday game, because it would have given another day's rest. And we were thin, but we still had some good arms that were fresh that could have got us to that point, you know. So we felt pretty good about it, you know. And obviously, if Bowman doesn't do what he did and we find a way to win that game, who knows what the next one would have looked like. But we were set up pretty good moving forward, and so that one stung a little bit.
You hear on Mondays it hurt less.
Well, we just, you know, we had exit meetings all morning, you know, and so it's one of they all, I mean, it's tough. It's a good group, you know. Like you said earlier, I wanted to get rid of all of them about halfway through, and now I want to keep all of them, you know. But they're good kids, you know, and whether they play well or don't play well, they, you know, represent our team and our program and our school really, really well. So it's some tough goodbyes.
The pitch counts,
yeah,
you know, things like that.
You go back and look at some of those from the tournament. It's ridiculous, you know. And I'm a little bitter because, you know, we try and do things the right way, but there's several programs that 180, 190, and there's one of them that over 200 pitches in three days, and that kid signed
over 203.
Oh yeah, okay. Over 200, and
he signed as
he's going to a Division I, an SEC school. You know, and
so did that SEC coach coming down there, an assistant coming out there and escorting him off the mat?
Well, that's the thing. He should be, you know. And I had conversation with a Big 12 school about, you know, a pitch count and a guy in the league, and
that's hard though, because they're still your guys.
You're right.
You're right.
And then everyone gets to do things the way they want.
Yeah.
You know, and stuff, and everyone has different beliefs. But like I said earlier, kids' future is way more important than one game, and they're all going to tell you they feel good. You know, and they absolutely want the ball, you know, who wouldn't? But sometimes you got to protect yourself or
Does
them
that
from
tell you
themselves.
something? Like if they made me go out and pitch like 3 straight days, they weren't really concerned about that I was going to have a future throwing Major League Baseball?
You know, you would think so, and you would think that it would all eventually come back in recruiting and
I
everything.
can't put
but-
sheetrock up anymore,
yeah.
but it's all right. It's,
Right,
It's
right.
there. You've got a lot of sophomores that are heading
Yep,
off, and,
yep.
and I know you always want to talk about that sophomore class because they're going to be representing Barton at some other places. So,
Mhm.
you know, wherever you want to take off on some of these sophomores, please do because they it's kind of weird because you're like, you know, they decided to come play for Brent Biggs, you know?
Yep. And we were lucky. You know, I mean, center fielder Robbie Bolins going to the University of Nebraska. He was MVP of the league, you know, best player in the league, and he finds out Wednesday if he made the final cut for Team USA as a junior college team, and so he's made the first 2 cuts, and I think they go to Panama this summer.
Wow.
So we'll find out Wednesday, and he should. I mean, he's one of the best players in the country, and going to Nebraska, and there's some scouts that have been following us around, and you know, I think that's it in the outfield sophomore-wise. Our shortstop, Jaron Cotton, you know, same thing, going to University of Nebraska, has a workout with the Red Sox in June. Really good player, great kid. Our second baseman from Wichita. Robbie's from Topeka.
Okay.
You know, Jaron's from Texas. Our second baseman was a transfer who's from Maize South, going to George Mason. You know, really good player. Reese Himmerling, who we mentioned, a Canadian kid who's been through it. You know, he's had a death in the family. I mean, the kid's tough as nails, and he's going to go to Division I. And, you know, Aiden Sowers committed to – he's a Dodge City guy who committed to Louisiana Monroe right before the season started, or right before the playoffs started. Our catcher, Grant Nodelman, who – little guy, you know, I say that. He's about my size. He's got, you know, 2 or 3 Division I offers from the tournament. And, you know, our backup catcher is Owen Bailey, Wichita guy, going to Oklahoma Baptist. So it's just, you can go up and down the line of so many guys that.
Those are all good programs you mentioned,
yeah.
too.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
talking about Louisiana Monroe. You're talking about some competitive baseball
Oh,
down
yeah.
in the South.
Yep. And the coolest thing, too, is there's still several guys that need to sign, but there's still several guys, sophomore-wise, that aren't going to go play. They don't want to, you know, they want to go to school, and, you know, like one of them's going to go be a lineman. He's going to lineman school in Georgia, and I told him, I said, well, shoot, you're going to make more. There's 4 of us coaches sitting there. You're going to make more in a year than all of us 4 coaches combined. But I just, you know, we get wrapped up, and this guy's going to Division I, and he's this, and we got a lot of guys that, you know, hang it up and go be good students and good people, and, you know, they're all just as important, and they won 91 games. You know, they won a Jayhawk West championship, and we always tell them, leave it better than you found it, and they did. I questioned it a couple times.
You made them clean their room a couple times, you know.
There was a couple times where, but man, it just, you know, they accomplished a lot, and, you know, Grand Junction's the end-all be-all, and if you don't get there, especially where we're at now, there's high expectations, and it's like, man, was this a failure? And then to see them all, you know, hugging each other and not wanting to leave, I mean, that means it meant something, and we accomplished a lot, so.
Okay, it's time to go to the grocery store, though, because you got to restock the shelves.
Yep.
So what are you going to be looking for?
Well, we have the majority of our team lined up, so we need 2 or 3 transfers. We have some really good players coming in. You know, we have an arm from Kansas City who's been up to 95 on the mound. We have a Canadian kid who's got some draft interest, and we've got to bring in the right 3 or 4 this summer, and I really like where we're at. And you know, our programs have been really good because guys get better, and we don't have to go get a bunch of transfers. We get a few, but our freshmen get a lot better as sophomores, and we develop them, and that's what's going to have to happen. If we're going to continue this, these guys that played as freshmen, if they get a lot better next year with some of the guys we're bringing in, I think we won't miss a beat, and it'll be another fun year.
How much does it help that you can keep these kids around in the summer playing for the Batcats?
It's been big time, you know, and Coach Ward, obviously it's a great thing, and you know, we get to watch them. And the coolest thing too is 2 of our high school guys that are coming in next year are playing for the Batcats this summer.
So they get their feet wet
They
just
do.
being in Great Bend
Yep.
and just being around.
Yep.
Okay.
So they're around, and they get their eyes open to college baseball and what it takes and the expectations, and you know, they're in our weight room and they're using our facilities, and it's just been a really good thing, you know, and it's high level baseball. There's really good players, and you know, even outside looking, I enjoy the Batcats more than anything, 'cause I could just get to go watch.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't have to worry about recruiting, or I don't have to worry about players, and I can just go enjoy watching baseball, which doesn't happen very often.
Just like everybody else,
Yeah,
you know, you
yep.
just be out there and be a fan. And
That's right.
Yell at Ward, you know, and say,
Yeah.
"What are you doing? Come on, let's go." Congratulations on a great season. Mizunas is in here if you want to tear him.
Yeah,
That's
I
fine.
just-
You know, we've got about a 90-second break.
You
so,
know, I was gonna chirp him the second day because we shocked Cali. Well, I don't know, Jimbo. We beat him 3 times this year. I don't know if that's a shock yet, but no, but it was a good year, and like I said, it's expectations are a good thing, you know, and sometimes they can put pressure on you and ruin you, and wouldn't have it any other way. So 41 wins. 7-8 years ago, we would have been stoked for 41 wins. It's a good thing, and you
Damn,
gotta
we
keep
didn't
it in
get 50.
perspective.
What's the problem?
I
Let's go.
know,
Let's
I
go.
know.
Yeah, look at the monster you've created.
Yep.
Okay. Appreciate you. Thanks,
Yep.
Brent.
Thank you, guys.
Brent Biggs with us here on Sports Day. Jim Mizunas coming up next. We're going to talk high school and baseball, softball, and baseball. There's something like that. That's next on Sports Day.
From the Mayo Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.
Are you a Class A CDL driver looking for a new opportunity? Venture Corporation is looking to hire several current valid Class A CDL drivers. And here are some great facts about driving for Venture Corporation that you will definitely enjoy. Higher pay, even higher pay if you have a hazmat endorsement. You'll be driving nice trucks, have more flexible hours, home most nights, and seldom any weekend work. Ready to team up with a homegrown, family-owned, and local company? Don't wait. Call Leslie at Venture Corporation today.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Wright, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
Smart stays on the road. That's why it's in your engine. Cenex Maxtron synthetic diesel engine oils give you the smartest oil for the toughest conditions. These premium oils maintain 80% of their viscosity throughout the drain interval for superior engine performance across extreme temperatures. That horizon looks good with the competition behind you. Cenex Maxtron diesel engine oils. Oil that runs smart.
Contact American Plains Co-op Fuel Department in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor today.
He's covered more big games than anyone else in the Golden Belt. He might be on your sideline, in your gym, or just about anywhere there's a game. Sports Day presents the Great Bend Tribune's Jim Mizunas.
As long as he's not in your backyard looking in your window, that'd be kind of weird. But anyway, Jim Mizunas is everywhere. And he's on Sports Day today, brought to you in part by Venture Corporation, reminding you to help a neighbor, shop local when you can, and by the Great Bend Co-op Bulk Fuel Department, your certified Cenex lubricant dealer in Great Bend. Mike Hesher also has rejoined us here in the studio. So, hey, stranger, good to see you there. Jim Mizunas with us right now. You had a good comment there because the level of play, the intensity, what was on the line, that Region 6 tournament, you've covered a lot of those, Jimbo. You're pretty impressed.
Yeah, it was, without a doubt, in my eyes, it was the best Region 6 tournament they've ever had as far as the quality of players and the quality of teams that were in there. I mean, Barton maybe wasn't nationally ranked, but they beat a heck of a lot of nationally ranked teams. They just kept beating them one by one. They just couldn't beat the number one team in the country. And Hutchinson did once, but they weren't able to beat them twice.
Yeah.
But any of those teams would have been good quality teams at the national tournament. I mean, number 1, Johnson, number 10, Hutchinson, number 19, Cali, and
KCK was in there?
Number 16, KCK. And so all those national ranked teams, and Barton was, like I said, they were beating their share of nationally ranked teams just to have a chance to win that tournament. But yes, it was the highest quality, which I'm amazed at because, I mean, the competition for those baseball players when they can sign out of high school is really a lot tougher than basketball because a lot of the basketball players, they got to play college basketball at least for a year or two. And the number of one-year players in basketball at least has been minimized to a degree. Now you can just transfer year by year and continue to play professional college basketball, as it were. But baseball, a lot of
think
those.
about that. I don't think because you don't have that many. You don't get a lot of full ride scholarships for Division I baseball. There's
No,
not
it's
that
not.
many. And
No, you see a lot
so
more
you can
guys.
you can get a better deal going
Deal.
to a junior college. That's why the level is so high.
Yeah, and there's no question that the level has gone up the last few years, but particularly this year where it was the best I've ever seen it. So again, congratulations to Barton and Coach Biggs, and tremendous job by them just getting an opportunity. Man, baseball, hitting a baseball is still the hardest thing to do in sports, in my opinion.
Some of the best baseball. I mean, high level competitive college baseball. It's cool. I mean, just the emotion of it. That it's different.
Yeah. We try to get up to the College World Series most years, and most years we've done that, and it's just a treat to see those teams, particularly when on occasion, Kansas has made it. We saw them. Wichita State's made it. We've seen them, and K-State hasn't made it, but they were close one year. They were one win away, and they would have been in the College World Series. But the level of baseball in the College World Series and college baseball is good. It's very good.
Okay, we're going to have Lyles Lashley on the show tomorrow to talk Great Bend track and field. Your impressions on the 5A regional at Memorial Stadium on Thursday, Jim?
Well, it was just so nice to see such a nice, sparkling facility with 8 lanes and brand new surface on the track for the runners to compete on. It just what a jewel of a stadium that Great Bend is fortunate to have those big time meets. And simply put, you got to have those volunteers lined up. You got to want to bid for that. Lashley says, "Oh, I got my guys. I got my people. We've got all the volunteers lined up." So congratulations just to simply do that. Most teams and most places don't want to do that. I'm sure the 6A schools that went out to Liberal Friday weren't too happy about traveling to Liberal for their track regional. But Great Bend is really not that far away from all the Wichita schools.
Yeah,
so.
the ones that were here for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, and those Great Bend girls. I mean, on the girls' side, just tremendous heart and tremendous desire to just compete. I mean, Salina Central brings in two of the top distance runners in the state, and Great Bend is still getting 2 qualifiers in the 800, 1600, and 3200, and 2 relays. So tremendous effort by the girls, and got other sprinkling of relays and field event people to compete at Wichita this weekend.
Okay, where do you want to go now? Baseball?
Well, Great Bend
softball? Yeah, let's go softball.
Great Bend got a tremendous draw for their regional. They got 2 Wichita area teams, but the 2-time defending state champion, Valley Center, didn't even make it to the final. So I was worried about Valley just because I knew that they were very competitive, had great pitching, didn't score a whole lot of runs, and then finished 6-6 down the stretch. So I wasn't sure exactly what was up with that, but Goddard ends up beating them, and 2 games went down to the last play of the game. Just amazing softball by Great Bend's girls, and freshman Kaya Bear and freshman Shayla Pendergast and freshman Camden Post, all leading the Panthers. 3 freshmen, outstanding freshmen. And then you've got all the experience with the other girls. So, and they got a great draw. They got away from the Wichita area schools and have an opportunity to play Spring Hill and then play the other another Eastern schools, which is, I think that's better than playing May South. It's better than playing Wichita Carroll. And not that they've competed with those teams. They beat Derby. They played May South at Dodge City, and they played Goddard Eisenhower at Dodge City. So they've played some of those schools, but you'd much rather play those Eastern schools that you don't ever see. So I think they got a great draw. 11 a.m. is just a perfect time. You don't have to wait around all day. You're playing the first game on Thursday and playing the first game on Friday if you win.
Wilkins Stadium's a great place.
Yeah, it's great, and they really improved it.
I like the way you're up high, you're not down.
Yeah, it's
low.
it's tremendous.
Unrestricted view. Yeah, sight lanes. There you go.
And our middle son Seth Masunis, he helped with Wichita State launching that softball program with Tim Walton. He worked with Tim and was on the grounds crew back in the day, and knows Tim, and to this day still is a lifelong friend of Tim Walton, who's led Florida to 2 national championships on the softball side. But they've improved that facility, really thanks to Tim Walton, because he got them on the map, and then it's went from there. It's a tremendous softball facility at Wichita State, so it's a great opportunity to play there.
Okay, then 3A baseball, 5:45 on Wednesday. You can hear this Of course, Panthers will be on B1043 The Point on Thursday morning at 10:45 around there for the pregame show. Then on 100.7 Eagle Country, Cole Rife has a call. Hoisington against Sabetha. So Hoisington 15-10, Sabetha 19-5. They've got some experience in this tournament. So is Hoiston. That's their second straight year, and they're red hot right now.
Yeah, they'll get a quality performance from Tony Moore on the mound, and really that's what you hope for, is you get a good quality performance on the mound, give yourself a team chance to compete, and we know Tony Moore will do that. So they'll have a shot. I mean, really the key is just winning that first game, and then it gets to be real fun because now, man, you're in the semifinals. You're just 7 innings away from the championship game. So hopefully Hoisington can put on their best game and have a shot against Sabetha.
Okay, so that's the baseball and softball. And plus we've got 2-1A here in Great Bend, too. So that should be a fun. If you want to go down and see some high school baseball, there you go.
Yeah, the private schools, of course, are there. Does Hayes TMP, is that a private school? I guess it qualifies.
Yeah, it would. It would.
They're there, and they've got a Great Bend saw them, and Ellenwood really played a good ball game. It was scored a bunch of
14-8.
runs, but just weren't able to keep the defense and pitching in line because 8 runs should be enough to win a regional type of game. But yeah, congratulations to Roger Ward for getting that program going, and going 500 against their schedule is a good testament to the quality of baseball that was played at Ellenwood this year.
Okay, we talked about Great Bend track and field. What about some of the area athletes that you're going to be looking at for a state track coming up this week?
Well, Hoisington has pole vault champs coming back, so they got Charlemagne Farmer and Josiah Ball, and then, of course, Ball's qualified in both hurdles events and Farmer's in the hurdles. So Hoisington has some really good quality athletes there. I was really surprised that Larned boys didn't qualify, Fisher or anybody else, but they're girls. Kaylee Hagerman is a long-time and perennial state contender, so she'll certainly be there, and it'll be fun to see. The lower classes were really thinned out. Of course, a lot of the Maxville athletes went out for baseball this year, so that thinned them out. But Destiny Mitchell is a multiple qualifier, and then the Maxville girl is a state javelin champion, Macy Russell, so she won it last year. So there's some quality there. There's not a whole bunch of qualifiers, but good quality. So yeah, there should be several state contenders and state champions just like last year.
Jim Mizunas, Great Bend Tribune sports editor. So this is it. I mean, we've reached spring break or summer break next week.
Yeah,
so
hopefully we get one last. Maybe that weather last night was just okay. We got the worst weather out of the way, and we'll have 5 good days of weather here.
Well, I don't know. It didn't rain. It just had a dust storm here, so I don't know. But
yeah, there was a lot of wind, and hopefully we get that weather closed away and have a nice week of weather. It looked like it was only going to be about 80 degrees in Wichita this weekend, which is nice.
Okay, I guess next time we'll be talking football season's going to be here, and that won't be very far away. I think Great Bend might be a fun team to watch.
Yeah, they'll have a few folks watching them this year, and a lot of Division I folks watching them play this next season too.
Jim, we appreciate you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Jim Mizunas, Great Bend Tribune, joining us. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to get some Royals chat. J.J. Piccolo on yesterday's pregame show with Ryan. That's next here on Sports Day.
Get ahead or catch up this summer with Barton Online. With 5 convenient sessions to choose from, Barton Online is the perfect fit for your summer goals and budget. At just $155 per credit hour, it's an affordable option for everyone. Financial aid options are available for qualifying students. Now enrolling for all sessions. Get started on your future today. Learn more at online.bartoncccc.edu.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powelson, president of Your Local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
We had a lady that was having some severe back and hip pain, and we worked with her for about 6 to 7 weeks, and we were able to actually restore greater than 80% of her mobility, and we were able to keep her from actually needing that surgery for about 4 years.
You don't need to hurt. Physical therapy can help. Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
Now, in its second decade, it's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Royals baseball tonight, 6 o'clock. They'll take on the Detroit Tigers after sweeping the Oakland Athletics. Royals 10 games over 500, 29-19. Ryan Lefevre talking with J.J. Piccolo yesterday on the Royals pregame show. A little Royals update for you here on the Monday Sports Day.
We're back at Kauffman Stadium for the Royals and the A's, and it's time for a weekly visit with Royals General Manager J.J. Piccolo, who joins us over the telephone and was here for the celebration on Friday night here at Kauffman Stadium with the 2014 team being honored. When things like that happen, JJ, whether it was Ned's induction into the Hall of Fame last year and the reaction of the crowd looking back on those 2 years, or Lorenzo Cain last year signing a one-day contract and retiring as a Royal, I always wonder what the current guys are thinking. Do they look up there and they say, wow, that was amazing? Or do they look up there and they say, hey, that's the same uniform I was wearing, that could be us someday?
No, I think it's the first part of that is that they're in awe of it. They think it's special. They know how hard it is to win. They know how hard it is to be a great player. But I think the thing that's really impactful is seeing how our fans react to Lorenzo King coming back last year, the players coming through the stands the other night. And it's hard. Our players are young. They haven't won at that level the way that 14 and 15 group had won. So when they see that, I think it's really impactful on them, and they start thinking about, wow, that's what we want, that's what we're working for, and it should be a really, really positive influence on them.
And I would think, too, if they were really curious about some of those individual careers, I mean, everything's on the computer now, they could go back and they could research some of these players and see that they had struggles in the minor leagues. They had struggles in the big leagues. They got sent down to the minor leagues because they were struggling here. I mean, it wasn't just a smooth trajectory from the minor leagues to the World Series.
No, not at all. And we don't have enough time to go through the things that we could touch on with all of the players and what had happened from injuries to lack of performance in the minor leagues to struggles in the major leagues. It wasn't a direct path for that group to the World Series. And they went through their struggles in 11 and 12 and the first half of 13, and it really wasn't until after the All-Star break that they all sort of collectively clicked, as a team. But even with that, there were struggles like Moustakas. At one point we had to send Moose back to AAA, and I remember getting a call from him, and he was asking me about going back and getting his college degree because he didn't know if he was going to be a major league player. And I said, Moose, let's just hang up the phone. You're going to be back in the big league soon, and everything's going to be all right. We had Hosmer had his first year in the minor leagues. That was really an offensive struggle for him. First time he ever struggled in his career. He went through his struggles in the major leagues. It goes on, but I think that's what made Friday night, from our perspective, whether it was Scott Sharp, who was the farm director, Lonnie Goldberg was the scouting director at the time, and Renee Francisco oversaw all of our international operations. From our perspective, what made that championship so special was the climb to the top, the struggles to get to the top. And that's going to be in our minds for the rest of our lives. But it's a great experience for us to go through, because players since then and players in the future will go through the same struggles, and hopefully they get to the top just like that group did.
There was a neat moment after the game on Friday during the fireworks. The current players and the 14 team and their families went on the field to watch the fireworks. Then the lights come on, and there's James McArthur having a conversation with Wade Davis, and then we find out Joel Goldberg had a chance to talk to McArthur about all the different things they discussed, and then McArthur gets in a mess last night in a close game, and there we have Greg Holland and Wade Davis watching him from a suite here at Kauffman Stadium, cheering every time he gets an out. McArthur
one night after having the conversation gets through it and gets the save.
Yeah, that was awesome to see on the broadcast. And, those conversations, we were fortunate enough to have Wade and Greg down in spring training this year, and I had a chance to listen to them talk to the minor league pitchers that day. But the things that they shared about their struggles and how they developed their routines and how they got through their struggles, made them human. We remember the last out Wade recorded in 15 and Holly dominating in 9th and 14, but it wasn't always easy for them either. They had their struggles. They learned to become closers. And with that, you'll go through innings that you have traffic like Mac did last night. But when they get through those innings and get through traffic, they just gain confidence and they learn how to really just survive in the moment and then dominate in the moment. So having guys around, whether it's talking to a closer or any of our pitchers that had the success that those two guys had, is always a positive thing for us, and really great to see them back and willing to share their experiences with our players.
One more thing about 14, and we'll move on to the here and now, but can you imagine what those guys are thinking? They're retired. They're there trying to corral their kids who are running all over the place, being glorified for what they did 10 years ago. And Salvi goes out and goes 3 for 3 with a walk and a run scored. He had an infield single. I mean, he's 34 years old, and he's playing like he's in his prime.
It's really incredible, and you could almost feel it coming that night. He was going to put on a show. He was the last man standing, so to speak, and playing the same team, the Oakland A's. You could just feel that he was going to have a special night, and watching him with that group Thursday night at the event at Union Station was awesome. And then I couldn't imagine what was going through all the other players' minds, but I know this, they're proud of Salvi, and they're not surprised that he's still going and playing so well.
Well, here we are, 9 games above 500. The crowds are growing. The excitement at the ballpark is growing. Just a game and a half behind Cleveland. They continue to win. If there's an area that stands out where there could be some improvement, it would be the outfield offensively. And if you looked at MJ Melendez, Kyle Isbell, and Hunter Renfroe, your regular outfielders, and you just go by OPS, collectively it's the lowest in the major leagues, and it's not even close. And yet they're playing good defense. Kyle Isbell hit a home run last night. Renfroe got a big hit in the game in Anaheim. Nelson Velasquez, another guy, got a big home run in Seattle. I mean, they're chipping in at opportune times, and the team is winning. So how do you juggle all those at the same time?
Well, we certainly need to, I'll use the word evaluate, what their at-bats look like, what their production's like. But because the team's winning, we're able to be more patient. And as you said, they've all had their moments. They've done something to help a team win. We went through similar things last year. And then the second half of the year, certain guys got really hot and really helped our offense quite a bit. So with the team winning, we can afford to be patient because those players were on our roster opening day for a reason. We thought they gave us the best chance to win as a team, and we are winning, so we got to continue to believe in those players. And at the same time, just evaluate what do their bats look like. From my perspective, in evaluating a guy like MJ, I think he's making some adjustments right now. He's hitting the ball in the nose. Unfortunately, he hasn't had the results that you'd like to see at the end of the night as far as getting hits, but he has done some good things. He's showing signs. Velasquez hitting that home run and getting a couple hits on a road trip. Getting hit last night, going to sort of right center field there. That's a good sign. But what helps those guys quite a bit is when the team's winning, they can go home at night and say, all right, let's put it behind me, come back tomorrow and work at it and try to get better. So, it's tough to go through, but at the same time, it's a lot better when we're scoring at least one more run than the other team on a nightly basis.
Some minor league news. Chris Bubich, in his rehab from Tommy John surgery, is in the minor leagues, and he's been moved up to Double-A Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah, that's the part of the progression. We have 30 days on rehab with Chris. With the Arizona Rookie League season now officially starting in May, he made his first couple outings in Arizona, and that counts as part of his 30 days. And then, we want to progress him through Double-A and eventually Triple-A to get him ready for a return to the major leagues. But by all accounts, it's going great. He really hasn't had a hiccup along the way at any stage of this rehab. It's just good to see him out and get out of the complex. That's a grueling rehabilitation to go through, so just to pitch in front of some fans, I know he's going to be excited about that as he climbs through to get back and help our major league team.
Seth Lugo 2 starts ago went 8 innings and threw 112 pitches, and we're in an era right now where you make a big deal about a guy throwing 112 pitches. But pitching coach Brian Sweeney has recently said that he wants to redefine the magic number as to where a pitcher has had enough and you need to start thinking about the bullpen. And right now that magic number seems to be 100 pitches. And the old school pitchers will look at today's starters and say, oh, these guys are soft. They only go 5-6 innings. They only go 100 pitches. But that's what they're being trained to do in the minor leagues. It's not really on them. And I imagine it also applies in college and in high school. So how do you feel about that number being extended, how you apply that in the minor leagues, and maybe how you find the right number for every pitcher so it's not 100 pitches for every single guy?
Yeah, I agree with that last part completely. Every guy's a little bit different. Some guys have the endurance, the stamina, the ability to be efficient with their pitches where they can pitch deep in games. But that is an artificial number when it really comes down to it. There's, I think, a lot of reasons why 100 tends to be the number everybody talks about. But a lot of it's just based on you see command and velocity drop a little bit when guys hit that 80 to 85 pitch mark. But if we just accept that, and this is what I like what Brian's doing, if we just accept that, then the pitcher's just going to pitch to try to get to 100 pitches. But if we start giving them the leash to go a little bit further, especially with the makeup of this group, they're going to love that. And for every extra out they can get in the 6th, 7th, or even the 8th inning on a really good night, that's an out that they save our bullpen. And I've heard Seth talk about it quite a bit. That's what he feels like his job as a starter is. And if you go back to the days you're referring to, that's what every starter thought. My job is to finish the game.
There you go, some Royals bonus coverage from yesterday, as the Royals will be in action tonight against the Tigers, 6 o'clock pregame here on KVGB. Sports Day brought to you in part by Next Tech Wireless. Experience wireless built by Kansans for Kansas, and by Equity Bank. Right here beside you, go to equitybank.com.
Need to make a change? Get the latest devices at Next Tech Wireless. Right now, you can get up to $1,000 off a new phone, like the Samsung Galaxy S24 or the iPhone 15. Well, what are you waiting for? Make the switch now. Next Tech Wireless. Home on the range.
When it comes to car maintenance, it's good to know a local guy that can get things done. The Eller family has been in the auto repair business in Great Bend forever. Greg Eller continues that long tradition of helping people. Eller Automotive Repair specializes in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4 Fridays. Eller Automotive Repair at 915 Morton, right behind Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, 10th and Morton.
Going strong since 2011, it's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Brought to you by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
All right. Coming up tomorrow on Sports Day, we'll get you ready for state softball. Kerry Minton will be in, head coach of the Great Bend Lady Panthers. I'm not going to say he's booked yet, but yeah, we just got to, our people need to get with their, anyway, Eric Steiner talking about some Hoisted Cardinal baseball tomorrow, and Lyles Lashley will be on the show, talk Great Bend Panther track and field here as we head down the home stretch of Sports Day before you go on our summer vacation. Guess Hesha will have an opportunity to be like school teachers. We'll go out and shingle some houses. Make a little bit extra money.
I'm not getting on a roof. I'm sorry.
You can drive the truck.
Okay, I can do that.
All right, that's tomorrow. Royals baseball tonight at 6 right here on KVGB. Enjoy the rest of your Monday.